It's Glenn Woods.
So some months ago, a young man stepped forward during all of the Ferguson riots going on and made a video that went viral about responsibility. And it's about damn time we had you back on, Freddie. This is a perfect... You're going to Baltimore, aren't you? Is that right?
No, I'm actually going to Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. Okay. Oh, dear Lord. I wonder which city's more dangerous right now.
Right at this exact moment, I'd probably say Baltimore, but in general, it's probably a toss-up.
Okay, real quick, just so everybody knows, Freddie, I bought your T-shirt the moment you got it made, and when I got dressed this morning, I kind of threw it on. It's actually under my dress shirt right now, and so it's just...
Nice.
You're just next to my heart there, Freddie. Responsibility. Responsibility was a video that went viral, and if you haven't looked it up, I've got it linked on my website as well still, so go check that out. And also, that's what you're on YouTube, right? Responsibility. Is that the name you use?
No, just F Wilson II.
Okay.
So for those out there that want to follow, just go to www.fwilsonii.com, and that'll take you right into my YouTube page.
I'll take you to everything, right? Okay. First off, before we talk about what's going on in Detroit, I've been talking about Baltimore all day,
right?
And I think some of the best comments that I've heard so far is, it's not really the protesters that are rioting, because this was being handled peacefully until the rioters showed up, and now we have the trouble. And the rioters are from out of town, so we've just decided to go ahead and refer to them as undocumented choppers at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. So from your perspective, as you sit there watching what's going on, I was impressed. My perspective is I was impressed with the protesters that originally showed up and protested out in front of City Hall and then walked into City Hall and met with mayor and the police. And I thought they were getting something done. And then this exploded. What did you see? What's your perspective on this?
I mean, yeah, pretty much the same thing. I mean, a lot of times when we have the protests that go on, you have the people that want to go out there and actually protest and do something positive, try to bring, light to a situation and get a resolution. But then inevitably, it's just, sadly, it's just human nature. You have the people that want to go out there and be opportunistic and see it as an opportunity to go out and get free stuff, to just cause chaos. And the sad thing is they don't realize how much harm they're doing to the cause. Specifically, I want to bring up the incident. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, the Russian reporter who had her bag stolen on camera.
Yes, I talked about that. And that was really hard for me to watch because, boy, it started with one or two kids hopping up and down in front of the camera, and then she was surrounded. I was honestly, afraid for her life when I was watching.
Right. But the biggest thing about it is, as I stated before on your show and on some of the videos I've done, it's the biggest thing we need to do with this is keep it in the forefront, keep it in the news, so that way, we force people to talk about it and force lawmakers to make change. Well, now you have a woman coming from Russia, another continent, another country, halfway around the world, trying to bring light to this issue. It would have been a perfect opportunity for the citizens of Baltimore to say, hey, this is what's going on in our communities. This is why we think, something needs to be done about, police reform, police brutality, this and that and the third. And then you would have viewers in Russia who, as of right now, they have no horse in the race. They're looking, okay, well, whose side are we looking at? Are we looking at the citizen side, or are we taking the side of the officers? Well, now you have these idiots go out there and they rob this woman on gunpoint. So now you can have a lot of people in Russia be like, okay, well, if that's the way they act, then no wonder why they're being shot down in the streets, and no wonder why the police are roughing them up. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you guys just blew a golden opportunity to get your message out worldwide. And now, because the actions of, it's probably about maybe, I think the mob that surrounded was maybe like 30 people. But you figure maybe only 5 or 10 of them were actually involved in the, snatching her bag. But you just got on camera for an international news outlet to see the ignorant things that are going on right there. And it's going to make it harder for those who are trying to do something positive to say, hey, this needs to stop. Where people can look and be like, well, maybe this is why this happens to you guys, because look how you guys act. And again, it's not it's the vast minority, but the perception is going to be, well, this is what the people of Baltimore are doing.
I have a picture.
Looking at, the people of Baltimore are rallying at City Hall and trying to implement positive change. Is going to be, well, yeah, we sent a reporter out there to cover the story and they robbed her. So why should we care about what's going on in the city, and why should we help them?
I have a heartbreaking picture up right now, just in from Fox News. There's a young man who can't even be a teenager yet. I don't think he is. And he is throwing a brick at a passing police van. at
Right.
that early age. And that, Freddie, just breaks my heart. Fredrick Wilson II is on the phone. Here's the thing about saying your name, Fredrick. Every time someone puts like the second or the third at the end of their name, I always want to say Fredrick Wilson II. As if I'm from, like Camden, Massachusetts or something like that. Okay, so here's what I saw. This picture that I had up on my video screen for the people watch on video was a young man, couldn't have even been past puberty yet. He just looks that young, throwing a brick at a police van. And what I was talking about in the last half hour is somebody that he's probably heard the name, but has never heard the words of Martin Luther King or what Martin Luther King used to do, because he would go into the South and bring out the church people dressed in their Sunday best, grandma and grandchildren clutching Bibles, singing hymns, and walking up the street, and just wait for the attack to happen. So anybody who may have been on the side of Jim Crow laws and on the side of the Klan and the police down there, suddenly they couldn't anymore justify, because innocent people had been attacked in their Sunday best, clutching Bibles, singing hymns. Now, so when I'm watching in Baltimore right now, I'm thinking, I'm sorry, but they've just lost they might have had a good argument here, but they lost the argument because people started picking up bricks, setting cars on fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can't have this mantra where we're tired of the cops killing, quote unquote, innocent citizens and things like that. Well, you have to act innocent. You can't be videotaped on television committing crime and then turn around and wonder why you're being, for lack of a better word, persecuted by the police.
Right.
Well,
and that's something else I was talking about in the first hour of the program today. I was just talking about respect.
You kind of lose your argument.
Yeah, just respect in general. You want my respect? Not when you're turning a car over and setting it on fire. I'm sorry, you just completely lost my respect there. So the question now then is, besides, I think the police have no choice. Handle this as best as they can and clear out the punk thugs. I think we have no choice there. But then here's the hard part, Fredrick, is how then do you restore and get back to where we were? Because we had some decent people who were protesting, and they were talking with the mayor and the police, and they were making progress. Can you see any way to get back to where they were, to pick up where they left off?
I think it's going to have to it's going to be kind of a self-police situation. Like, those that are out there trying to do good are going to have to be the ones to, first of all, condemn the actions of those who are being counterproduction. Right. And then also kind of, self-police. Like, if you're out there, protesting peacefully and lawfully, and you see others doing so unlawfully, you have to be the one, point those people out. And if that's in most cases, call the police on those people. Sure. So that way, like, as a show of faith, like, look here, we're trying to do things the right way. These people are out here, just causing trouble. We're going to contact you so you can, weed these people out and get them out of here, to show that we don't condone their actions and that we're not a part of what they're trying to be a part of. Like, we're a part of trying to get a solution done, trying to get justice done. We're not a part of, out here trying to just loot and riot and tear things up just for the sake of doing it. So it's, I think a lot of parties are going to start with that.
Okay, now you're going, I want to make sure to put this in. You said you were going to Detroit to speak. What's the event that you're going to?
It's a community unity walk. Long story short, back in December, a teenage girl by the name of Paige Stalker was murdered. And then a few nights later, a young woman by the name of Christina Samuel, she was murdered. So the two families have gotten together and they're putting a unity walk together, and they've invited me out. Things are still kind of, I know the mayor, Michael Duggan, he's speaking. I'm not quite sure if I'll be speaking. It was, at first I was, and now we're kind of up in the air as far as time constraints. So I may or may not be speaking, but I will be attending. So I just wanted to, the family reached out to me and see if I can, reach out to some people I've been in contact with to kind of get the word out. The website for it is www.saveourchildrensfuture.com. And so, it'll be this coming Saturday, May 2nd. Again, there's going to be some speaking, and there'll be a walk for those people who are familiar with Detroit or who are in Detroit. The walking route is going to be along Mack Avenue from Candelo Road to Alter Road. And so, that's going on this Saturday. And it's basically, like I said, those two families got together with the community, and they decided, to do a unity walk. they're going to, I know there's possibly becoming an annual thing, but it's just to bring awareness to all the senseless violence that's going on in that city. And again, to get people to, community leaders, community activists to come together and, start trying to put a stop to it.
See, this is what we need more of, because I did come across a story a while ago that showed, and God bless the reporter who put this story out, but of course it got buried in all of the noise out there. In Chicago, in Detroit, in cities around the country, marches like this are actually happening all the time. People in the community are coming out to say, hey, we need to stop the violence and come together as a community. But of course, if it bleeds, it leads, and I mean that literally. And so a peaceful march like that doesn't get a whole lot of attention. I think you're doing the right thing, Fredrick, but that's what you're up against. You got to find some way to get the press to cover that march wall to wall, just like they're covering Baltimore right now.
But I mean, and that's a great point, but also what needs to be said is for people in communities that are, especially facing the really, really tough times, don't wait for you don't need the media's coverage. The media's coverage is awesome and it helps. But if you have 100 members of the community show up on a Saturday morning in a park and they speak and they walk and everything like that, and not one single media event is there, that's fine. Do it anyway.
Okay.
Even if you don't have the media attention for the region or for the nation, at least you have word of mouth. I mean, you can come around your neighborhood. Hey, what are you doing on Saturday? Oh, we're having this down at the community center. Come out. So it's like, definitely if you have the means and the capacity and the connections to get media attention, that's awesome. But if you don't have it, do it anyway.
You make a great point.
The bottom line is people in these communities, you have to start doing stuff, getting involved. And again, the more you do it, eventually the media will come.
Okay.
If things take off and they get big enough, the media will they'll be forced to pay attention.
Fredrick, I got to get some news at the top of the hour. I got to get some news at the top of the hour. You are always welcome on this program whenever you need it. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.